Okay, this is another video for today. I want us to look at the windings here. See how my windings are, how they look like on the outer perimeter here. You can clearly see that my windings are going this way, over to the next one, over to the next one, on and on and on. I want you to look at the picture that, the best picture I have yet captured in this post that this video is in, and see the difference. You can see that Pierre's windings are twisted and turned, and there seems to be more mass in this area and in this area here. Then there's also a black wire that's embedded inside them going this way, and then you see a mass of wires coming out on the edge here on the perimeter. So there is definitely a technique that he has developed in his windings that is different than what we're doing. Maybe we have these like in the slots somehow, but there's something that he's doing because his wires look like they're twisted and turning around. Anyways, that's that. The next thing is Jerdy, the new user, has made a new program that he calls a variation of delay, and I've actually tuned it to 60 Hertz, so that's why I added 60 Hertz to it there. So right there is the result of his you could see here he has a very small pulse and then a very wide on time. Okay, and that's just like varied all over. It just particularly where I have the probes here. Okay, but if I move this probe over to the next one down, you see the next one is wide, and then if I move it down one more, the next, so we have 3 wide, and now on the 4th you have a narrow. Okay, so you have a narrow pulse, 3 wide, a narrow pulse, and 3 wide. I think that's what he kept his pattern. But now I'm just gonna zero my my current. If you look at the current is doing something very different here in this particular program. And look at this. This is interesting. I've never seen that. It's kind of like a ringing, you know, a ring down of current. I mean, keep in mind that my zero line here, this is current used, okay, from here up here, but everything down here, that's current return. And look how long this stays down here until it gets back to this point here. Okay, so that's really interesting, and definitely this program creates more output, so actually over more than 1 volt more on the output. Now the output's just on the capacitor, the 60 microfarad AC capacitor. We'll put it on the load as well and look at that, but let's just look at that now. And what I'll do now is I'm going to call back the previous program that I had in there, the previous video of this, and I'm just going to load up. It's so easy, just press F10 and it's already loaded up. Now this is my previous program, and right now as well I can see that I've got my actually my number 30 pulled out of there. I'll put it back in. Okay, so there it is. So we're getting 2.44 volts, okay, and that's like a perfectly even program. It does the same thing throughout. All the pulses are, you know, slight overlap, and they're all the same width. And then I just had showed you that when I pull pin 30 out, then we get this kind of a skew. Okay, and our current went down a little bit. And now I'm going to go back and pull that new program there, the variation of delay, and we'll upload that. Okay, and right away we see our voltage at 3.85, okay, much more aggressive, okay, and our current has gone up a little bit. It's 1.8, okay, but the interesting thing is if I put it on load, okay, here's my resistor, I put it on load and the current goes down slightly, okay, it doesn't go to 1.8, it goes down in current. And if you look at the waveform here, now I'll remove it off load, okay, it's off load now. Look at the current shift, on load, off load. There's a slight downward shift on the current, which is correlating to the power supply here, is showing, you know, less demand, and because more somehow is going back. So that's kind of cool. I think we're, you know, kind of going into the right direction with this, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. So again, in this particular program, so you see we have 592 millivolts there. I'm just going to connect the wire 30 there back in there, and you see 570. So again, even there's got to be a variation in the program, but I also think there might have to be also a variation, something in the physical wiring itself, the method it's used or whatever. There's a big difference between what I see on my stator and everybody else's, except for Pierre's. So there's something that he's doing in his wiring in his stator. So there's a physical aspect, and then obviously there's a program aspect to it as well that we seem to we're gonna have to get to match to get the results we want. So that's it for now, and let's get our minds working together and share, and we'll get down to the bottom of this. Thanks.